You know, on first glance, I can admit that I actually thought that G2's draft was good, but in hindsight, no. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's review Damwon versus G2 together. I mentioned in my summary that Damwon showcased some of the most beautiful League of Legends I've seen in a long time. Camille ban. Banning Camille on blue first is alright if you don't expect all of these top lane bans. So these are three champions that can be considered picks into the Camille. The key thing though is that Renekton is still open. LCK top laners love Renekton into Camille. But with Camille banned, what is the potential blind pick top for G2? They went for a Renekton. I think the idea here for Damwon to give up the Lucian is to make sure that they get Twisted Fate and Jhin as a trade. They are really testing the waters here to see what Perkz will be capable of without the Jhin. And Twisted Fate is high prior for both Caps and Showmaker. You assume in most cases that Lucian is going to go mid. Only Nidalee is banned. There is still the option of going Graves here, but they went for Hecarim, which was a surprise to me. Usually the driving force in the early game is, of course, Canyon. And I think in a world where Lucian went mid here together with Lilia, it's going to be very easy to dominate the Hecarim. So I was very surprised here. First three, I don't think G2 is in a bad spot. Considering the bans, there's going to be Ashe, Senna, and Ezreal as a potential option. Hecarim will be weak early, Lucian wins Twisted Fate, and Lilia can invade the Hecarim. Second wave ban, Cannon. Nuguri plays Gangplank, but it's not something that he's really known for. Like, I was involved in LCK, we scrimmed against his Gangplank and so forth. I think Sambot was one of the first teams that actually started picking GP in LCK, which I pride myself upon, specifically into this matchup. This was the series when where everyone realized that Leona is just really overpowered. And that's why Pantheon ban comes in. Sylas in isolation here is very beautiful against these champions. You think of the Leona ultimate, it's going to be good. You think of the GP ultimate, you think of the Hecarim ultimate. But it comes with such a painful price. Sylas pick weakens the early game of G2 a lot. Having Renekton and Lucian, putting them in a position where they have a weak early game is really rough. So I would much rather just see here an Ezreal, you go Leona, and I think the draft would have been so nasty. Leona is such a good champion in triple AD compositions because not having Mercury against Leona is such a big deal. So in hindsight, Ezreal Leona would have been the better choice. Early game top side is going to be super good. G2 know that early game they need to impact hard. Twisted Fate is going to buy Mercury, he's going to become tanky. Mercury is going to be so valuable against this 2v2. Hecarim will have an easy time farming. You know, on first glance, I can admit that I actually thought that G2's draft was good, but in hindsight, no. No level 1 action for Lilia. It's a big point of strength and a big point of weakness for Hecarim. Not going for that is maybe something they should have considered. Maybe you would coin flip too hard, but in hindsight, looking at how this game went, maybe coin flipping was indeed the right choice. Bottom matchup is not good. Jhin, Leona are very winning. Here Wunder really threw the lane. Tanking two of the turret shots here was just way too much. The advantage he built up so far, considering GP already went through half of his mana, a very big deal. Like, this is going to be an absolute game changer because often Jankos, when he's playing these farm junglers, needs to compensate for some of the mistakes that G2 do because you're playing so aggressively when it comes to the lane phase. This gank in the mid is also huge, very big. The fact that Showmaker dies here is massive, absolutely massive. Lucian has no mana. He has one biscuit and there's one potion left on Jhin. Like, it doesn't look too bad here, the overall health situation. There's just 2 biscuit advantages here. It just looks like straight up Rakan just got one-shotted here. Guardian's on cooldown and that makes him less durable, and then boom, there is Mikyx's death. And he could have also flashed earlier, flashes and dies. Very uncharacteristic of Mikyx considering he had such a good tournament. You have to remember that in mid, Showmaker burnt his flash and died, and Sylas could freeze, had XP advantage. It's also much easier to impact mid lane because it's central. So if you think of the minimap, right, ganking mid doesn't take any time. Like, if I'm full clearing top side and then I'm going through mid into bot side, time spent here is not that big. But committing all the way into one specific side, you're so far away from each quadrant on the map, right? You're so heavily committed. So here we had a situation too. Keep in mind now the no magic mantle conversation we've had, and Canyon being allowed to farm and being ahead, having the Sheen here is the key difference makers. It would be very surprising to me if bot lane is not calling that Leona is actually first in this situation. So they are forcing this. It's not a good situation at all. Showmaker dodges the E, which is super clutch here, and then Beryl is of course first. The kill comes down, GP ult is on 6, and as crazy as it might sound, this loses the game completely. You cannot throw bullshit at that one. Anything that is in the bounds of the rules and laws of League of Legends, anything that is outside of it, that one will call you out for it. G2, Mikyx also Wing into the wall here is very strange. Like, Mikyx was not himself this game. Why am I saying the game is over? Bottom is too far ahead. We spoke about how G2's composition with the Lucian AD and the Renekton top and the Lilia, they have the need to get ahead. I mentioned as well that Nuguri got ganked twice, but his lane state and lane condition now being 60-60 is super good for him. As I mentioned, Canyon swept this before, and now they're just going for it, and Wunder's lane state is just too shit. No one can really save him. Like, Damwon are so far away from their bottom tower, and this play gets forced. Jhin and Leona, how far away they're hovering. They are playing in a way where it seems like they are expecting this. A tip for all of you that are in teams. The call, let's force a fight, let's dive, in a lot of cases builds bad habits. In a perfect situation, if you're pressuring into bottom and you're threatening a dive, if the enemy plays perfect, they're going to walk away. So in reality, what you're contesting is this space. Let's contest enemy bot tower. Of course, if you say dive bot, everyone understands it. But the correct play always when the enemy team is pressuring S4 into your bottom tower, it means that you need to back off. The gain that you're getting is that you're hitting enemy bottom tower, you're denying minions. Same thing when you say, oh, we should force a fight, you should force a fight, you should force a fight. But in reality, what you want to do is you want to contest specific space. Teams are in the mindset where, oh, we need to dive, we need to fight, we need to force. They overforce. G2 want to pressure bottom tower. This is usually like a fair line where you don't want to pass. In some cases, of course, you can find kills here. I'm not saying it's a one rule applies to every situation, but it's something to keep in mind as you are progressing with your team or coaching your team. Building the habit of saying we are pressuring bottom tower, right? It's all about the space. Because let's say you are a stronger 5v5, it doesn't mean you win 5v5 in every position. If you use that strength in order to gain the space that is important, you've already achieved what fighting would do. Because here, this is Caps fighting alone. Only Rakan could reach him. This is Caps fighting alone. Everyone from Damwon got to collapse. When in reality, the threat alone was enough to gain an advantage here. Damwon with a very clear-cut plan. GP in isolation. Respects the timers where Lilia could potentially gank him. Very smart from Beryl. Because Beryl didn't show on anything here. Damwon are playing as if Leon is on this side of the map. This could be a situation where they can, you know, prevent the dive on bottom, GP and Leona, just through the sheer force of Fog of War here. Very nice use of Fog of War here from Beryl. Very beautiful. Then Jankos gets snapped in half. Instantly. Look at this. Jhin Hecarim movement into top side. Get the tower. Jhin in Fog of War, because there's no vision in top side river. After they've gotten the bottom top tower, instantly they contest the space that they've lost because they have higher tempo. Very nice from Damwon. Even here, even though they are so strong, they're not making any efforts to contest this wave hard. So in a lot of cases you'll be like, yo, Damwon is so far ahead, why are they not contesting this wave? Because Twisted Fate is catching. Twisted Fate is catching the wave. They don't want to put themselves in a position where they are forcing for no reason. They put down the Herald to cause pressure for the Drake, to force a reaction from G2. And on G2's end, this is the best case scenario for them, because they're getting heavily outscaled. They finish 2 core. They're also bleeding a lot of gold because they don't have towers. They're also getting their jungle stolen away from them. They have the blade finished. They have 2 core finished on Lilia, 2 core finished on Sylas, arguably 2 core finished. There is never going to be a point in time where they are stronger. So this is the best fight that G2 can take, especially in terms of positioning as well. This is probably the best thing that they can achieve. Just because Jankos here is showing, and this blue trinket gives them the freedom to enter this space. And now G2 have lost the position. In reality, what needs to be done if they wanted to have the best case scenario for a fight, Rakan needed to be here. This had to be Rakan. The moment they showed on this space, through their ward and through the vision of Leona, very easy for Damwon to just retake this beautiful area. Damwon are hovering into this side because they know that they've got people on this side. And then they can retake all of this space that they didn't have in the first place. Cannon plays patiently. He recognized this position is not so good. They want to be fighting in this space. It's better for them if the enemy walks into them. The enemy is short range. Damwon's wanting to create a situation where the enemy goes into them. Here, Mikyx gets kind of outplayed. The GP ult is monstrous. Look at that GP ult. And then the Beryl as well. Because everyone's rallying behind this Mikyx engage, but they get banged in the head by a Beryl, and then GP ult, Leona ult is covered by it, and it's just game over. I really just feel like Damwon have really agreed on how they want to approach the game, and it's clear that everyone just wants to win. Anyhow, that's it.